I am an end user and also an investor.
All right. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much to the old subscribers and thank you to the new subscribers. Please make sure to share this video, like this video, comment below if you will. Thank you so much for your support.
My journey began by dabbling into tax sale properties. And so I will give everybody a homework to do a research to find out what it means to have a tax lien sale or a deed tax sale. These are avenues that you can use to get into the real estate game. But as Ms. April said, there's things cannot be a quick get money scheme. So you have to really understand that once you're in it for the long haul. It's not about you getting a quick cash and everything is all hunky-dory and you're off to the Bahamas and chilling and having a good time. It's stages that you have to go through. So that is the homework I have for you. Now, what do you need to get into a tax sale or a deed sale? Definitely, you have to be disciplined. Discipline is the number one thing you have to, because if you're not disciplined, you are going to be easily distracted and you will not focus on the goal ahead. The next thing you need is access to capital. You need capital. Well, how much capital do you need? I would say when I started out, the capital I started out with was $20,000, my own raw cash. Now, you might say, oh, that's a lot of money. Well, it wasn't the $20,000 that I saved in 1 day or 2 days. It was a capital that I put aside. Say I had a 5-year plan, and I said in 5 years, I want to have $10,000. So I reverse engineer what it will take to get at $10,000. Get it from your W-2 when you get your taxes. Instead of blowing that tax money on going shopping spree, once you get the tax return, put it aside for 2-3 years and let it stack up. That way you have a capital to be able to start something like this. You can even use it on a conventional if you want to go through FHA. Sometimes FHA asks for 3% down. That is easily sometimes under $10,000 for you to get your first mortgage. And the other thing that you need if you're going to be doing this is you definitely need a good accountant. You need a good attorney, a very reliable GC if you're not handy yourself. Don't grab anybody from the street, Uncle Joe, Uncle Bob, to help you with your rehab on any of the sales that you get your hands on. And of course, you have to be able to do research, either on your own or have a good research team. Now, there are all kinds of different tax sales out there. You have the state sales, you have the county sales, you have the city sales, law enforcement sales, you have the judicial sales. All this have different entry levels into them. Some, if you want to bid on any kind of tax sale, they have a minimum requirement, anywhere from $100 to $1,000 to be able to get into it. The Chicago market is one of the heaviest. At one point, I would say it used to be corrupt, but they've done all efforts to clean that up. If you want to bid on a tax sale in Chicago, you have to register online. Everything is done online these days. For example, if you were to bid on a property in Chicago that somebody lose their tax, they didn't pay the taxes for over X amount of years, and the city is now selling, or the state is now selling that taxes, you go and buy that, and for a number of years, 1 to 2 years, you have to sit and keep paying the tax on that property as if you own it, but you don't own it. As after the person did not redeem that property, that then you can get a handle on that property, and then you can then rehab it and do whatever you want to do with it. Sometimes it is risky. Any business is risky. But what happens is you don't lose your money outright in a case like that. If they redeem, you get your money back. If you're into the interest game, some people will put anywhere from a 0 to 10% interest on whatever money they use in buying that property. So it's a little difficult for the person to redeem if it's at 10% or more. So that means they forfeit and then you get it. That's the one of the crux about the tax game. But the properties that I do buy on tax sale, when I do my research, I make sure, because I'm not heartless. I don't want to just grab anybody's property and it becomes mine because they lost their tax sales. Usually what happens in some cases, somebody dies and they don't have a next of kin, or they don't have a heir that will take over that property. So it sits there. But you have to do research to make sure that that is what that property is. And sometimes families leave houses, properties to their children. But the children are not in that same state. They're somewhere else. They cannot afford to manage that property or pay the tax on that property. It defaults. You can buy that. That's the ones I do go after. And when I look at the numbers, and I look at this is an out-of-state owner, that means I can easily get this. If I look at the name in the tax portal and I see the person paying the taxes is the same person in that house, same address, I usually shy away from that, because we all know sometimes we fall on hard times, and I don't want that kind of karma to fall on me. So that's how I deal with that. Now, if you are going to be doing a tax sale kind of like investment, I would say don't make your first investment your personal property, because once you do that, you have too much emotion tied into that property. It will not give you the clarity to be able to move and shake as fast as you can. That's one key thing that you should be careful of. And also, only spend what you can afford to lose. What are the advantages of tax sale properties? You get a high return on tax sale properties. One of my very first property I got on tax sale, which was not in Chicago, it was actually in Gary, Indiana. I'm sure we all remember the crash of, was that 08 or 07? And Detroit went into a whole turmoil, and you have these foreign entities coming and buying real estate in Detroit. Well, most of those things are tax sale properties that they're buying up, and they got it for cheap. So what I did is I could not go to Michigan, and I don't have any friends in Michigan, but Gary had similar issues, so I was able to drive to Gary to be able to research which properties that I'm looking at, and I was able to get some few properties by doing that. Imagine you getting a 2-unit for under $10,000. And in 6 months, you wait and make sure everything clears. The state does everything it needs to do. And in 6 months, you get a clean deed to that property. You're golden, because that's that property. If you do your research and you find out that that property might be worth $50,000, $70,000, that means you have that equity in that property. And now you can go ahead and try to fix that. You can fix it, hold it, or flip it. So there are different avenues into tax sale and the different benefits to it. How you lose is if you don't have the right team around you to file the right paper, the documentation on that said property that you've won, and also having the right contractor that has the right eye that is in your best interest, not his own interest. He'll make his own profit, but in your best interest, where it doesn't take forever to fix the property up for you with a decent amount of money. When it comes to tax sale, there's the diverse opportunities for you, because look at the sheriff sales. The sheriff sales is the house that the sheriff had seized either during a drug bust or any kind of legal action, or somebody put up a money to post a bail or something like that. Now, the sheriff doesn't want this product because they don't want to be a landlord. So they have a tax sale for that. If you go to their website, you find out when they do this kind of sales, and then you can bid on those kind of properties. And sheriffs are all over. It's not only in Illinois. They're all over. This kind of things happens, especially in Florida. This is a high place where this happens because of the international trade that happens over there. But if you have the stamina to be able to deal with Florida, go ahead and bid on a property in Florida and flip it and hold it. So you can do these things internationally. And the good thing about tax sale is just that the title is clear. It's all on you. That's the advantages that you have, and you have good equity, and you have a low start. You don't have any loans. If you want to do a tax sale, I would advise you not take a loan. You take a loan, then you're under the pressure of the bank. This is just little monies that you put together, or you have a group of friends that come together so that you guys can do this as an organization or a club to get us going. The disadvantage of tax sales is sometimes it's a risky business because you do not get access to that property. You cannot go inside and do an analysis of how much you're going to spend in rehab. So it becomes a little difficult for you to invest blindly on something that you don't know what's going on the inside. But you can drive around the neighborhood to see what the neighborhood looks like, to see this is a neighborhood that is safe and the lawns are cut. They don't have any junk cars in the neighborhood. They don't have any nuisance in the neighborhood. And then you can know that, okay, this is something I can put my hands on. Now, the disadvantages is the competition. What you're looking at when you're bidding, you have to have a cap that you cannot go over. Do your research, know what that property is worth on the market, and try to bid under that. Do not go above whatever set property you're bidding on. And usually there's 50 to hundreds of people in the room that are bidding against you. Do not get emotional by overbidding. That's one of the disadvantage that some people do. They get themselves wrapped up that, oh, this is my dream. This is what I want at any cost. You set yourself for failure right there. So those are the major things. But in the long run, the strategy is just to be thoroughly do your due diligence by researching, have a budget in place, understand the local laws of where you buy, understand what they require of you. Some you can buy it, you cannot flip it right away. You have to wait for a year or 2 years before you flip it. So understand the laws of what you're trying to get into, all right? And also build a network. The people you're bidding against, try to network with them because you buy an asset that they want, they will buy it off of you down the line. So don't take them as your enemy. These are people that you can actually deal with down the line. And try to have an exit strategy. Don't get yourself wrapped up in one property for too long. Just try to have an exit strategy and understand what you want and how much you can afford to lose and how much you can gain from this, and continuously educate yourself on the market, understand the global economy of what you're doing and in the area. That is it in a nutshell. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I look forward to doing some more with you guys. Thank you.